All right, and we now move ahead. Now, US President Donald Trump has credited Hamas for playing a significant role in the return of hostages from Gaza. He noted that the return of the final 20 hostages was challenging but successful. Trump emphasized that the US had been able to bring both living hostages and the bodies of those who had died back to their families. US envoy Steve Witkoff added that the policy of peace through strength had been key to the success of the mission. He explained that the second phase of the US plan to end the Gaza war involved the establishment of an all-Arab technocratic government and the disarmament of militant groups, including Hamas. Trump expressed optimism that Hamas would disarm, with Witkoff further confirming that the process was already underway. Let's listen in.
I think I would like to ask Steve if he could just give us a brief description of how well we're doing in the Middle East, because we have peace in the Middle East now. There's a couple of little minor flames that we put out very easily. And very importantly, we got our last hostage back, which is incredible. Unfortunately, this was something that nobody said could be done. And I will tell you, Hamas was a big factor in getting all of the hostages back. We were not happy with them, and they had to bring them back, and they found the dead hostages, the bodies of hostages and those parents wanted their sons back, I think in all cases sons, but they wanted their sons and their family. They wanted their sons back as much as the people that had living hostages that we got them back to. So we got the 20, but remember, we got hundreds back previous to that. But I always said getting those last 20 back is going to be very tough. And we got them back, and we got all of the bodies back also, which to those parents was just as important as getting back the son that was living. And now we want to get Hamas no guns, right?
Right, they're going to give it up. They're going to give up the AK-47s.
A lot of people said they'll never disarm. Looks like they're going to disarm. And they did help us with those bodies, getting them back.
And that family is so grateful to you. They called, I spoke to them, Jared spoke to them.
All right, joining me now in this discussion is retired Major General Dr. Rajan Kochar, who is now an international relations expert and joins us from New Delhi. Dr. Kochar, thanks very much for joining us. Firstly, the big question is Hamas really going to disarm?
It's a very, very important question, because that is the fulcrum on which this entire peace accord has been based. Because any further progress of the peace accord can only take place in case disarming of Hamas is achieved. And that is going to be a tall task, in the sense that firstly, it would require the role of the international stabilizing force, which in my mind should be around 25,000 strength, because anything less than that, it would be difficult to stabilize Gaza. And who should be part of that force is also a major actually concern, because right now what is emerging is the likely contributors are going to be Egypt, Jordan, Morocco and UAE. I know, and Pakistan and Turkey's role has been rejected by Israel. So I don't think Pakistan and Turkey will get to play here. And one more aspect of difficulty in disarming Hamas is that Hamas is not one integral group. Hamas has certain splinter groups, which one or two of them, which I am aware, are not in agreement of handing over their weapons. So now this becomes a challenge, because this handing over of the entire weapons has to be done by the entire force of Hamas, whatever be the factions involved. Second is that it is also linked to the withdrawal of the Israeli Defense Forces from Gaza, because we are aware that this disarmament will not take place unless IDF withdraws and there is an international stabilizing force in place. So now a bigger and the larger question is that when is this international stabilizing force going to be there, and it is going to be effective from which date, because that clarity has not so far emerged. And also there is a talk now that the United States would also contribute to this stabilizing force in terms of intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, command control backbone, and air defense coverage, and as well as the European Union, France, Italy, and Spain and Germany are likely to pitch in, and basically for the intelligence fusion part of it and the training part of it, and the next is that it is extremely important that we need to avoid Gaza becoming a militarized zone, because whenever there will be a militarized zone, there will be always a possibility of some kind of a gunfight or showdown between Hamas and other forces. So now the larger question is, why Trump is actually doing this signaling is because he's trying to appeal also to his domestic audience that he has been able to push through the Gaza peace plan, and Hamas is cooperating with him because that is the signal he's trying to give to them. And in the region also, as far as the Israel and the Gulf states are also concerned, he is also sending that a post-Gaza war order is in place, and it is happening because, contrary to reports, there were indications that this peace accord is not a success and it is failing. So Trump is trying to send a message that the peace accord is progressing well, and he's also trying to exert the pressure on Hamas now, because he's putting the onus on Hamas now, and he's telling Hamas that so far you have done your job, and hostages have been returned, and he says, I'm sure that Hamas will also surrender their weapons and disarm themselves. So I think in the end we have to get into a reality check, and we have to see those scenarios which are likely to emerge in Gaza, but certainly, Kriti, it's a very, very challenging task.
Right, but how much credit should really go to Trump for really taking this initiative and pursuing on it? Because clearly the fact that Hamas had agreed to return the last remaining hostages' body was only after the Board of Peace plan had come up.
Certainly, I think credit where it is due must be given, and credit to Trump certainly needs to be given, because before this Board of Peace, nothing was happening there, and there was no semblance of a peace treaty or tranquility in that area. But definitely we have seen now, and daily reports also are coming in there, less of fighting, though of course this ceasefire so far is holding, but certain sporadic incidents of gunfights and firefights have also been seen, and some Palestinians also been killed. So, but in the larger picture, I think Trump needs to be given that credit, because he has made things happen in Gaza, and getting the Board of Peace functional also was a big challenge, especially getting the support of the other countries, and mostly the Gulf countries or the Muslim countries are in favor of this and are supporting the peace plan of Trump.
Right. Dr. Kochar, do stay on as we move on now.